Welcome in to the Rockies Insider. I'm your host and your Rockies Insider, Patrick Lyons, breaking down the 2025 Rockies promotional schedule. It was unveiled on Tuesday. Plenty of news and notes in and around the ball. You got the Dodgers bringing back two players that are still not a part of the 40-man roster just yet. How are they going to make that work? The Angels continue to make additions. Are they believable? Are they not? And a former Rocky first-round pick signs a deal with the New York Yankees. Who is it? I'll break it down here in just a moment. But the big news of the day as we await pitchers and catchers reporting on Thursday for the Colorado Rockies. Cubs are down there. Dodgers have already reported. Down in Florida, the Tampa Bay Rays report on Tuesday. And the rest of about half of the teams, I should say, in MLB will be reporting on Wednesday before the Rockies, and another 10 to 12 teams report on Thursday. But the news in Denver at Coors Field, of course, is the promotional schedule for 2025. We have a much better idea as to what fans are going to get when they come out to the ballpark this year, April through September. Sometimes the Rockies do add things over the course of a season, maybe some smaller giveaways, but a lot of really notable ones right off the jump. 3 different fireworks nights, 2 for the 4th of July, actually on the 4th of July. Not sure the last time the Rockies had a game on July 4th. It probably was last year, and I just don't remember. I can't say that I avoid fireworks games, but I know this isn't going to make me look very good, but I'll be honest with you, because I'm an honest person. I try to leave before the fireworks. I haven't stuck around for the fireworks in a while, partially because of the traffic situation. Just kind of want to get out. I've got an article to write. I've got different things I need to do. So I usually take off. So I've never been there just for that. Maybe that changes this year. We'll see. But July 4th and 5th, that's against the White Sox. And then, as it is every season, the fan appreciation fireworks for the anti-penultimate game of the season. It's not the second to last, but third to last game of the year. Friday, September 19th. That's against the Los Angeles Angels. Fan appreciation fireworks. So 3 fireworks dates on the books. Pretty neat if you're looking to just go for that spectacle. That is a fireworks night. The first one on the schedule for notable giveaways is a t-shirt. It's an Ezequiel Tovar, Brenton, Doyle Gold Glove Award t-shirt. You've probably either seen it on social media at Patrick D. Lyons, or you saw it in the thumbnail for this video, but that's given away by UC Health. The one from Brenton Doyle last year, that was just him. That one was a big success. A lot of people love that. This Tovar and Doyle one really looks sharp because it's black, purple Rockies at the top. You got an image of Doyle and Tovar, and at the bottom, Tovar and Doyle are in a golden color that just really pops. And in their images, catching a ball with their mitt, their gloves are gold. So that looks really sharp. It's one of those giveaways where if you saw it in a store for $25, $30, $35, you'd want to buy it very, very, very much so to support the player. If you're not looking to support the team, you do want to support the player and you're interested in a purchase like that. So that's a nice one. That's a really good freebie. Mother's Day bag giveaway, a clear bag given away on Mother's Day. I guess that's going to be on May 11th. There's a Rockies Hawaiian shirt. I think it's been a couple years since they've given something like that away. That's on Sunday, June 8th. They're going to be playing the Mets for that one. A trucker hat on June 22nd against the Diamondbacks, another Sunday. There's one that there's not a rendering for yet. At least I don't think there is. But it's a Rockies basketball jersey on Saturday, August 30th. That's against the Cubs. Yeah, there's only the first 15,000 fans are going to get that. Don't know what it looks like. You know, will it just kind of look like the black vest? Those black replica jerseys that have been given out in the past? Not sure. But nevertheless, that could be a sneaky good one, a basketball jersey. There have been some teams in the past that have done a soccer-style jersey which are pretty neat. The Diamondbacks have done that a couple times. I know the White Sox did it. The first time I ever saw it was about a decade ago, going through the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and my head just turned on a swivel. I actually had to grab the guy and said, "Excuse me, what is that jersey? What is that shirt you're wearing?" It was a Marlins soccer style jersey. So I think the Marlins were the first team to do something like that. Nevertheless, Rocky's going to do a basketball themed giveaway. Maybe Nikola Jokic throws out the first pitch that game. We'll wait and see what happens. But two of the biggest promotions for 2025, I'd have to say that you're going to get a lot of people really excited for, especially because it's the first two bobbleheads for these players. Different night for each of these gentlemen, but first 15,000 people on June 7th against the Mets will receive a Brenton Doyle bobblehead. And the image that is out for Doyle and this second one I'll get to in a moment looks more like a rendering. It's not like the actual bobblehead, that maybe they haven't gotten them yet. But the Doyle one is of him with the glasses on, the goatee, going up against the wall, making a catch in center field at Coors Field. So that one looks really sharp. That's a really good action bobblehead that you don't see a ton of. Usually it's like Larry Walker over my left shoulder, just holding a pose, swinging a bat, or a pitcher holding onto the ball before they release it. This one is a little bit different. So I think people are going to be really excited about that. And then the other one coming up this summer is going to be an Ezequiel Tovar bobblehead giveaway. That one coming on June 21st against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that one is your standard, swinging Ezequiel Tovar as far as what the sketch looks like of him in the batter's box, head down, making that contact. So that one looks pretty sharp. That one also looks really solid. And again, that's Tovar's first bobblehead giveaway by the Rockies. Same with Brenton Doyle. So I think those are going to be two of the, more looked forward to games at Coors Field this year. But right now, only 15,000. A little bit different than, the Dodgers. They try to give one away to just about everybody. So it's 40,000 at Dodger Stadium. This is only the first 15,000. So get in line, get there early. Even if you just get there on time when the gates open, you definitely should be fine. Even if you're there probably, I don't want to say an hour early, because these are Saturday games that the bobbleheads are being given away. One is against the Mets, one's against the Diamondbacks. Are they actually both in June? I guess so. They both come together in June, 2 weeks apart. So an hour before the game, before first pitch, I don't think that's enough time. So, you really need to make sure that you're getting there about an hour and a half early for those. You're going to have your magnet schedule giveaway. That's at the home opener against the A's. That's probably my favorite giveaway of the year. Some of the bobbleheads I get, they'll just sit in a box. Some, like the Larry Walker behind me, as well as this really cool new one I got at FanFest. Is this Ribby? Yeah, that's right. This is Ribby, one of the many Spokane Indian bobbleheads. This is a whole bobble body. So this one's really cool. Glad to have added this to my collection. And this is out. This is actually on display. Whereas most of the bobbleheads, they'll just kind of stay in the box. I don't have a ton of room for things to be on display in the Lion's Den podcast studio, as it were. So the magnet schedule for me is my favorite giveaway. I'll put it up on my refrigerator, and I wear out the spot right there in front of the refrigerator. Not because it takes me a while to look around and figure out what I want to eat, but because I'm looking at the schedule. Okay, who's coming to town next week? Planning different things. All right, well, I've got a friend visiting from out of town. Maybe I want to hit this game versus that game. What's the schedule going to look like? And just getting a general feel for things. Like, for example, haven't thought about this yet, but after the All-Star break, the Rockies are home for a week against the Pirates and Blue Jays. Well, the Pirates, even if they're in the hunt by that point of the year, the additions that they have might be on the smaller side. But the Blue Jays are arguably in their final year of contention with Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. heading for free agency after this season. They might bring one of them back. I don't know if they'll be able to afford two, but this could be their last push. So by looking at the schedule and just thinking outside the box, I'm going, oh, okay, who's coming after the All-Star break? The Blue Jays. That could be a real interesting one, April 4th through 6th. So I love the Magnus schedule giveaway. There's going to be dollar hot dog games, as always. What are some of the other typical ones? Yeah, but buy one, get one hot dog night. So maybe the free hot dog night or dollar dog night has kind of gone away. Yeah, buy one, get one. I think you get a coupon now, and then you go and you buy one, you get one. I can remember one of the first games going to where it was dollar hot dog night. There were no coupons. You could just straight up eat as many hot dogs as you want. And I'm pretty sure I ate 7 hot dogs, not because I was hungry, but because they were only $1 and I wanted to get my money's worth. And I absolutely did. The Dodgers are looking to get their money's worth with Clayton Kershaw, who is reportedly in agreement to return to Los Angeles, pending physical. Not sure how much that 1 year salary is going to be, or if it's a multi-year deal. He's been very much a year-to-year kind of guy. He's in Glendale today. Dodgers pitchers and catchers are reporting he's there. Again, still has to get that physical. I imagine everything's going to be fine. But between him and Enrique Hernández, who a couple of days ago signed a 1 year deal to return to the Dodgers, that's 2 guys that they've re-signed, who are not yet on their 40-man roster. So those deals have not been made official yet. And because they're not official, they've got a 40-man roster and they've got to make room for 2 more players. You can now add guys to the 60-day IL, which the 60-day IL does not mean 60 days on the injured list starting from today. It is starting opening day. So you are guaranteeing that player is going to miss the first 2 months of the season plus. They do have 3 guys who had Tommy John surgery within the last 8 months: Kyle Hurt, River Ryan, and Emmett Sheehan. So those are going to be 3 spots right there you can probably free up. And depending on how Brusdar Graterol and Gavin Stone are recovering from their shoulder surgeries, that could give them 2 more candidates. So we're talking 5. They've got room for 5 more free agents potentially on their active 26-man roster. Really only 3 more now after Kershaw and Kike Hernandez end up joining the club. So Dodgers might not totally be done yet. Dave Roberts did say on MLB Network Radio that Tanner Scott, their big bullpen signing this offseason, is going to get a brunt of the early save opportunities for Los Angeles. I'm not totally shocked by that because, look, they are paying him good money. But I did think maybe because he's a left-hander and you could have better left-handed bats coming up in the 7th and 8th inning that you may want him to attack, that Scott wouldn't be the closer right away, or they would do something by committee. Kirby Yates signed a notable 1 year contract. He has a ton of closing experience. And don't forget, over the last 2 years, the Dodgers have been great with Evan Phillips as their closer. 42 games he saved over the last 2 years. So, they've got their options. They definitely have a ton of options right now in their bullpen with some guys on the IL, but 3 guys with dominant closing experience. Not for a long time, not a long-term dominance, but still in recent memory, Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, Evan Phillips, they'd be closers on more than half of the teams in Major League Baseball. They can go any which way they want. Make sure, I do want to mention too, make sure you are signed up for the Rockies Insider newsletter. That's absolutely available for free on Substack. If you're listening to this on the podcast side of things, in the description, you can go ahead, click that link, get yourself signed up for free, where I'm going to be giving you updates pretty much weekly, getting you caught up on what happened this off season. That's what this recent edition is, getting you caught up on the off season, calendar of events for things to keep your eye out for. And in this week's Rockies Insider newsletter that dropped on Monday, I'm going to go through some of the historical events regarding High Corbett Field in Tucson. Some of you out there remember, some of you might not. High Corbett Field was the original spring training home for the Colorado Rockies, and it was used in the filming of a very notable and a very beloved and iconic baseball film. Check that out over on the free Rockies Insider newsletter. Speaking of closers, speaking of Los Angeles, the Angels lock up Kenley Jansen to a 1-year, $10 million deal. Believe it or not, this is Jansen's fourth team in the last 5 years. After 12 seasons with the Dodgers. He's now 37 years old, and since leaving the Dodgers, he does still have 97 saves over the last 3 years, 3.42 ERA. He's been a lot more durable, a lot more consistent than someone like Craig Kimbrell, who he has 7 more saves than. 447 career all-time save total for Kenley Jansen, 440 for Craig Kimbrell. Jansen is 4th most saves of all time. Think about that. With 32 saves this year, that will put him 3rd all-time. He'll go past Lee Smith, and he'll trail only the 2 guys with 600 career saves in Mariano Rivera and Trevor Hoffman. Think about that. So when we talk about the Hall of Fame and Billy Wagner getting in on his 10th ballot, Billy Wagner was everything that Kenley Jansen was, if not better. In their primes, Billy Wagner was a much more lockdown closer than someone like Kenley Jansen. So ask yourself right now, when you're talking about the greatest closers of all time, is Kenley Jansen not one of those top 5 guys? What if he's top 10 for you? Doesn't that mean he should be in the Hall of Fame? Remember that when the time comes for Kenley Jansen to be on the ballot, and it ends up taking him 6, 7, maybe 10 years to get in. Think about that right now. Is he a Hall of Famer? I would say he is. I absolutely would say that. This is his 16th season, and he's going to, more likely than not, surpass or at least come close to Lee Smith, who racked up his, now I got to do some math, 470 plus saves in 18 seasons. Trevor Hoffman was in 18 seasons. Mariano Rivera, technically 18. It was 19, but don't forget in 2012 he had that freak injury, so he missed all of it. According to JAWS, which is a great metric that you can check out over on Baseball Reference, was created by Jay Jaffe to evaluate players across various decades and generations. Kenley Jansen, 10th best reliever of all time. And he's yet another addition for the Angels, who they've made a lot of good signings, but I can't necessarily say I'm impressed or I'm intrigued with their offseason, because the Angels just, grab these guys in free agency and there's really no cohesiveness during the season. Like on paper, they're solid. And you might even like them and say, oh man, they might even be able to battle for the AL West title, perhaps on paper. If you're saying everyone has a great season, sure. But how often has that really come to fruition for the Angels when they go out and grab guys on 1-2-year deals? They did sign Yusei Kikuchi to front their rotation. They got Kyle Hendricks for 1 year. How much does he have left? I don't know. Early on in the offseason, in fact, it was the first major transaction, Jorge Soler was acquired in a trade with Atlanta. Travis d'Arnaud signed there. Yohan Moncada, J.D. Davis, Kevin Newman, nice utility guy off the bench. So some notable names there, all on short-term deals. How much are those guys going to provide? Ron Washington there in Anaheim? I don't know. Bob the Innocent, thanks for joining over on the chat on YouTube. If you're listening to this on the podcast side of things, you can still jump into the chat, leave a comment on any of these videos. A lot of real solid outpouring and support of the episode I did last week on expansion. So if you've got some thoughts on where MLB could go for their next 2 teams when expansion rolls around, leave a comment on that video. I will comment back. We can have a whole fun conversation. Stuff like that, believe it or not, can help out a lot in the algorithm and can help me out with what I'm trying to do here at Just Baseball and at Rockies Insider. Other important notes from this the past couple days: Reds add Scott Barlow to the back of their bullpen, a guy who, when I've got my hair down and it's curly, Bud Black thinks there's a resemblance between me and Scott Barlow. Perhaps there is. Last year, not a great showing for Barlow. His fastball did dip just a little bit. It's at about 4 miles an hour, less than what it was in 2021 when he really started his breakout. Those 2 years with the Royals in 21 and 22, he had a 2.30 ERA, a strikeout rate just under 30%, a walk rate at 8.4%, 40 saves, 20 holds. So this is a guy who's been able to show that a certain level of success that I think he can get back to. And again, with Terry Francona as his manager, he was there with him last year somewhat in Cleveland. So I've said it many times, the Reds are going to be a team to reckon with this year. Tyler Matzek, Rockies fans remember that name. First round pick in 2009, 11th overall pick. Tyler Matzek went from failed prospect, hopeful, to a very solid reliever in his 30s. He's now 34 years old. He signs a minor league deal with the Yankees after that 2021 run where he was dominant in the World Series. He was incredible in 2021. Unfortunately, needed Tommy John surgery during the postseason run in 2022, but during the 2020 to 2022 seasons, he was outstanding. 2.92 ERA. He struck out more than 27% of batters in 135 and 2/3 innings pitched. So Matzek may be able to get things back on track as he recovers from Tommy John surgery, and that could end up being a good home for him with the Yankees, where if you're signing a minor league deal with the Yankees, that means, you've probably had some offers for some other teams where maybe you would have had a chance to make the big league roster in camp as a non-roster invite. But the fact that he goes to the Bronx does suggest perhaps it's going to be more of a long-term project for this season. Maybe he's going to be okay in AAA with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. And then in the second half of the season is when you start to see a lot more of him. He gets back his effectiveness following Tommy John surgery and could become, one of their top lefties out of the bullpen during the stretch run. Finally, Justin Turner, his market heats up as Alex Bregman just languishes out there as a free agent. The Cubs have had some interest in the much cheaper option of Justin Turner. I don't even think they're really not in the same plane. I don't see that because Bregman, former shortstop, that is a Gold Glove Award winning third baseman. He won the Gold Glove last year, right? He wasn't just a finalist. I'm pretty sure he won the Gold Glove last year at third base for Houston. And yet he's told teams, I'd be willing to move to second base. Okay, well, that's something. Justin Turner, he's not playing third base anymore. He's certainly not even playing second base anymore. So it's a fine, cheaper option for a guy in his age 40 season, but you're not getting that kind of versatility like you would get with an Alex Bregman. So Tigers, Red Sox kicking the tires on Justin Turner. And, one of those teams, Astros are in that hunt as well for Alex Bregman. If you don't get Justin Turner, you're going to end up with Alex Bregman. So not really sure what Scott Boras is waiting for, as it sounds like the Astros have given him a 6-year offer, a contract for 6 years that's out there. I don't know why he thinks he might be able to get more than that. We'll see if that actually does come to fruition. But next week is when you're going to have all the position players reporting. This is a pitchers and catchers only type week right now. But next week, everyone's going to be in camp. In fact, most guys are already in camp. You probably saw it over on Blake Street Banner. They were posting it on social media, the fact that the Rockies were well represented at the Waste Management Open this past weekend. Like that's really the kickoff to spring training, it feels like, right? Like that's kind of the start of it. And the Rockies had a ton of guys. Great point in the chat. Yeah, all those teams are in on Nolan as well. So it's really Bregman or Nolan. Someone's got one domino has to fall, and then eventually the other one will as well. I know St. Louis would still like to, cut a little bit of payroll and get rid of that contract. But as long as Alex Bregman is out there, teams are going to be playing hardball. And the Cardinals are used to playing hardball. They will wait it out. I think they have enough confidence, and they should, because they do operate in that trade market a lot. They have had a lot of success. They've also made some poor trades too. I mean, there's an entire outfield of guys like Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena who they've traded away over the recent years. But nevertheless, because of how confident, and rightfully so, and because of how well the Cardinals have moved in these kind of markets, I think they're confident enough to say, we can wait to get what we think this player is worth, or rather, we know that this guy is worth more than is out there, and we still think we're going to get that. Not all teams can have that much confidence. Not all those teams are out there that can move like that. We've seen the Padres do it, where they're only just now starting to heat up. It was, 2 weeks before opening day, and actually it was only a couple of days before they went out to Korea that the Padres acquired Dylan Cease. It's not ideal. You'd rather have all your ducks in a row a lot sooner than later. We are certainly in the late period. But I think with Nolan's market, St. Louis is just waiting for someone to finally move and say, Alex Bregman is gone. It's Arenado or bust. And they'll be able to get at least 3/4 on the dollar for Nolan Arenado. Will that happen? Wait and see. Come back in. Tell me I'm wrong if I am. If I'm right, celebrate with me in the chat as we go forward, as spring training is right around the corner, the official start of the unofficial start of baseball season. It's official to me. It's officially unofficial to me. But at Patrick D. Lyons, at Patrick D. Lyons MLB, and at Rockies_Insider podcast, YouTube. Make sure you're going over there and leaving a review, leaving a comment, and get yourself signed up for the new Rockies Insider newsletter. Go back and check out. There's close to 10 now that you can get yourself caught up on from the off season. I would appreciate it if you signed up, especially because it's free. You give me a lot of momentum, especially you, Wild. Appreciate that. Thanks for the momentum for dropping in and dropping by. But unfortunately, as I like to say, momentum, well, that can only be as good as my next show. So, of course, I'll talk to you then.